Hey, how you doing? We're gonna watch a fight. So, I was planning on releasing a video that I've made, edited up, lovely, beautiful. It's been copyright claimed by the UFC because it's got an old Pride fight and they've now owned that, so they've got the rights to it. Whether I'll ever get that released or not, I don't know, but I've appealed it under fair use. We'll see. If not, I'll try and do something. I've re-edited it and re-uploaded it and they immediately copyright claimed it again, so I suspect it's probably a no-go, which is a shame because it's a cracking fight. But we'll find a way somehow. But I wanted to put something out relatively quickly, so I went back to StreetBeefs, and basically the very first fight it suggested, I've loaded up, and we're all good to go. This is StreetBeefs Tampa Magic Mike versus Hybrid, and I've got no idea what's going on here. So let's get it going and have a look. StreetBeefs, yeah. Oh, some quite nice knockouts there. Okay, this guy's in better shape than the last people we watched. Okay, yeah, he's looking in pretty good shape too. Hybrid and Magic Mike, 5'7" and 6'2". That's quite a height difference, isn't it?
Just trying to have some fun. Magic Mike fighting out of Fort Myers. I think this fight's gonna end by submission. Sorry to my wrestling coach, Coach Spaz, who didn't want me to fight.
Okay.
I had to do it.
He's got a wrestling coach. That's a good sign.
You already know what it is.
Hopefully this will be a little bit more
make sure you guys go check out BetOnline, best odds site in the world.
Okay,
also,
yeah, adverts.
Gear sponsor, HKA. Go subscribe to my channel, DM me on IG, let me know where you want us to pop out to next. On this side, we got Hybrid. All right, your grade he will dig.
Okay, we don't get to find out what the record is.
We got Magic Mike. He will knock you out if your game ain't tight. Fellas,
okay. Sounds like he knows what he's on about.
You ready? You ready?
Tattoo suggests that he's into martial arts, doesn't it? Here we go. Ooh, nice kick. Yep. Okay. Oh, these guys, yeah, they've got an idea. It's an interesting bounce he's got. Okay. Close to the kick. Nice to side control. Got him into half guard. Okay. Let's just pause this for a second. My gut feeling is that these guys actually know a little bit more about what they're doing than the chaps we were watching before. These guys look like they may have fought before. That doesn't look like a particularly nice place to be on the ground though, so you wouldn't want to be on the bottom. But, you know, I mean, if it's Hybrid, isn't it? Hybrid's the guy on the bottom. If he's done any grappling, he's probably not going to be too worried by that. And Magic Mike claims to be a wrestler. So, yeah, I'm quite impressed so far. This is a little bit more like it. Not an awful lot in the way of striking. A couple of kicks thrown, a couple of out-of-range long jabs. But, you know, we'll see. I'm withholding judgment. So let's keep going for a little while.
There you go, baby. Drop them elbows, baby.
Okay, some little elbows coming in. Well, he's not got that half guard. Oh, okay, right, there we go. Nice little grapevine. Why are you not just passing out of that and getting to side control or mount? Oh, okay, he's trying. And round to side control. Good. That's more like it.
One minute, fellas. 1 minute, guys.
It always disappoints me when someone who describes themselves as a wrestler gets to side control and brings their knees right in. Because, yeah, you've got a little bit more control, but you're really giving up the opportunity to get a ride in there, to get your weight involved and drive down into them and really make them pay. And these guys are both relatively in shape, so any advantage you can get from you know, tiring your opponent out without necessarily getting tired out yourself, you really should be taking. Carl Gotch, conditioning is your best hold. So if you can make them more tired than you, that's going to help you win. But, you know, in his defence, he's got to side control. He's still on top. He still looks like he's dominating the fight so far. I'd be interested to see what the guy on the bottom does, because, you know, there's a lot of ways out of this, and I suspect, from what I've seen, that Magic Mike might wrestle, but I don't think he's much of a grappler. I'd be surprised if he's done much in the way of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the wrestling he's done is almost certainly not catch. Let's see. Okay, nice little elbow to the face, little cross face, yeah, elbows going in. Oh, come on, there's a submission there. Take it out now. Okay. Got to mount, get some ground and pound in. It's a nice position, but I'm feeling that the ground and pound doesn't feel like it's doing an awful lot at this point. It's annoying, but a little bit of adrenaline in your system, you're probably not going to be too worried by that. And I do wonder why the chap on the bottom there, it's hybrid, isn't bucking, isn't trying to get out in some way. You know, he's got his leg over, he can lock that leg, he can try and roll him over that. All he's got to do is secure an arm, and he should be able to get out of this and transition and maybe reverse it to be on top really quite easily. But maybe he's not done any grappling either. Okay, the elbows could be doing something there.
Don't try to strike back, baby. You gotta grab. Don't try to strike back.
It's quite interesting listening to the crowd shouting advice. Don't try and strike back. You've got to grab hold of him. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're gonna roll him off you, if you're gonna get him off, if you're gonna get out from underneath that mount, you've got to hold onto him in some way or other. He's not just gonna fall off. But yeah, doesn't look like he's been in that position much at all. So, you know, maybe not. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah! Don't try to strike back. You gotta grab something. Nice. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there.
Okay.
Hang in there, baby.
Would it be uncharitable to suggest that I feel like I'm watching a fight between two guys who are relatively young and relatively in shape, but that have watched more mixed martial arts than they've trained, perhaps? And Magic Mike on top, clearly he's got some understanding of what he's supposed to be doing here, but it just doesn't look like it's particularly effective. You know, I've caught a few elbows, and when they're done well, bloody hell do they hurt. And I'm not sure there's an awful lot of that going on, and I'm just thinking that there's a long way at it. Maybe looking at that, if I were hybrid on the bottom and I didn't think I was going to be able to get out from under this mount, I'd probably be trying to shuffle down so that I was half out of the ring, because they're not going to let the fight continue if he goes out of the ring. Are they? Maybe they are. I mean, StreetBeefs don't know the rules. So, let's see.
Hang in there. 2, 1. Hang in there.
Okay, so we've got to the end of the round. Oh, that's nice. Nice bit of sportsmanship. The two are obviously... This is not obviously... Oh, not obviously. This is obviously not a beef. This is obviously just done for the love of it. Yeah. Does that feel like quite a short round? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back in and see how long these rounds are. That didn't feel like a particularly long round. So let's see what happens in round 2. With a bit of luck, I suspect they're going to... well, I suspect they're going to end up right back down on the ground, but I think Hybrid's going to try very hard to keep this standing. But my guess is that Magic Mike's done enough wrestling to be able to take the guy down. Let's see.
You ready? Let's work.
Okay, hang on a sec. We've got to go back and watch that again. Did you see the guy in the background? The guy with the blue hoodie on? Hang on, let's just drop that back and go again. There you go.
You ready? Let's work.
Do you know what? that could be me. I mean, not technique-wise, but I have a hoodie in that blue. I have a black baseball cap with a pink logo on it. I have cargo shorts and I have black trainers. That could easily... It's not me, but it could be. And I do wonder why he's doing that. Maybe he's got a fight coming up. Maybe he's warming up. Maybe they've got a bunch of fights. Maybe he's just pleased to be on camera. Who knows? But either way, that made me smile. Good man. Were they supposed to be kicks? Let's watch them again. I think those are possibly the two most non-committal kicks I've seen in what's supposed to be a serious fight for a long time. Okay, no, there was a bit of power behind that one. Now that one, Magic Mike, you should be ashamed of yourself, young man. That was pathetic. Okay, alright, that might explain why I feel that the round was a bit short, because there was clearly a cut there. Let's go back and watch that again. I don't know how much they cut out, maybe not much at all, but there was definitely a jump cut, so we could have lost a bit of time there. Yeah, see? But they're still dancing. Okay, that's a nice kick there. Oh, he's let him get hold of him again. And down they go. Oh, right, leg up. He's clearly trying to get out the side. Shrimp, man, shrimp.
I'm gonna stand you guys up, okay?
Okay, that answers the question from earlier. Let me just pause it. Don't go out of the ring, or I'm going to stand you guys back up. Now, if I were on the ground underneath somebody that's just spent the first round pounded on my face, I'd be doing everything in my power to try and get us out of that ring at this point, because standing up, he's definitely got a better game. Magic Mike's kicks are embarrassingly bad, and his striking, it's so hard to say, isn't it? Because it's all been at least a foot out of range. I think if they can stay standing, Hybrid's got a chance. So let's see if he does what I'd do and attempts to shuffle out there. My guess is he probably didn't hear. He's probably too worried about the fact that he's back in this position again, because that sucks.
There you go, good fight. There you go, tee up. Keep that chin tucked, breathe.
Okay,
That chin tucked.
behind the head, there we go. No,
Don't let his hands get loose. Hold on to him.
What are you doing?
Body up.
He's clearly not a grappler. Let's just leave it at that. Training under some of the people I've trained under, in catch, this is. If somebody gives you an arm like that, then secure the damn thing. You know, he had the opportunity there. He's got his left behind the guy's head by the looks of things, and he had his opportunity to get his right behind that arm. That would have been a lovely way to lock up. You could have really done some damage there. I'd probably even have come over to side control, because that's a submission waiting to happen. Probably wouldn't try and do it from mount, because I do have a tendency to fall off. But that's more my own incompetence rather than the techniques being at fault. But yeah, that's disappointing.
Body on body, body on body. Body on body, baby.
There was another cut there, wasn't there? It's done fairly well, but I do wonder why.
Body on body, body on body. Body on body, baby. Not doing no damage. Not doing it. There you go.
Okay. Right, let's go back and watch that again, because Hybrid's obviously trying to do something at this point. He's trying to escape. It doesn't look like he's done himself any favours trying to escape like that. Shush. I'm trying to pause you. But yeah, it does look at least like he's not willing to sit on the bottom anymore. Now, if he can get to standing, I think he's going to be good. But yeah, Magic Mike looks pretty flexible. He's got that right leg hooked in, and yeah. Let's go back and watch it and see again. See if let's go back a couple. There we go.
There you go. Not doing no damage. Keep that chin tucked.
I've just noticed that. Sorry. I keep spotting new things. Was it just me, or did Magic Mike get his arm tangled up in the ropes then? Let's watch that again, because that That makes me chuckle.
Not doing no damage. Not doing it. There you go.
Okay, it was right. Gotcha. Right, so it was when he's clearly not got an awful lot of balance there. Has he just got a bit blasé about it, and he thinks he's safe because he was last round, and he just forgot that perhaps the guy on the bottom might not want him to be there. So when he bucked even a small amount, Magic Mike essentially fell off and almost fell through the ropes. It's a good job that they're not on a raised ring, because he might have fallen straight out. Let's go back and watch that. Yeah.
Not doing no damage. Not doing it. There you go. Not doing no damage. Keep that chin tucked. Keep that chin tucked.
Oh, he's got that crossface. What is that?
1 minute.
Oh, for God's sake, call yourself a wrestler. There was a beautiful opportunity for a crossface submission there. And I would be willing to put a lot of money on the fact that Hybrid has not grappled enough that he'd be able to sit there in that crossface without tapping out. And even if he was, you get the crossface on with the left and the right comes underneath for the guillotine. Fight over. What's your problem? Let's go back.
Stay poised. Stay poised. Keep that chin tucked.
Yeah.
1 minute.
What are you doing? Okay, trying to get the hooks in. Okay, spinning elbow, but you've given the guy your back. He's hanging on. What's he doing? Is that choke on? Doesn't look like it, does it? Looks like that's I'm going to go back and watch that again. But what I think I just saw there was that Mike had his arm across the face. It was a crossface. And Hybrid, the guy underneath in the black shirt, literally pulled his head up out of the crossface. I guess because they really bloody hurt. I hate them. But because I hate them, I've spent many a session saying to everyone there, you know, if the opportunity comes, please crossface me. Don't ignore it, because I have to get used to them. If I'm going to grapple, if I'm going to wrestle, if I'm going to be competing with somebody, those things that I know I hate that people are likely to do, I need to become accustomed to them. Oh, sorry, itchy nose. It's all this talk of cross-facing. And the one thing that regular training teaches you more than anything else is how to put up with that severe discomfort. Let's call it severe discomfort. Obviously, it's not. Obviously, it's painful. Nearly swore, didn't though. And I think what's happened is that he's got a crossface on and Hybrid's come out of there, and I think he's just popped himself into a choke. Now, if Hybrid was a good, experienced grappler, I don't think Magic Mike would be able to choke him out, because I don't think Magic Mike's good enough at grappling. But I think that Hybrid's not a good enough and experienced enough grappler, so I think that he's probably about to get choked out. Let's just pop that back a little bit so we can see if I'm right about him giving away a guillotine choke, and see what happens. See there, that point there, you can see he's across the face, isn't he? And yeah, Hybrid has literally just popped his own head out, giving up the neck. Yeah, and that's not. He didn't even try. I mean, in his defence, they're effectively wrestling on mud. So he probably didn't want to drop his face down and try and get a little bit of space there and see if he can beat that choke. But it's a little disappointing. But I suppose there's a really valuable lesson here. Let's just watch the end of the fight and then we'll come back and then I'll lecture you about valuable lessons.
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice bit of sportsmanship there. That's good. And don't get me wrong, the right guy won it.
Shout out Syndicate Boxing, Nico Price, Coach Spaz. Love you guys.
So he's a boxer as well, eh? I'd be more worried about that if I were that chap's boxing coach. I would like to see him use the massive reach advantage that he clearly has, and the fact that he's clearly in shape, and at least try to win the stand-up game. And if the other guy turns out to be better at it, then use the wrestling that you've clearly got too.
Hey guys, look, if you're into cryptocurrency, you have
Okay, we don't want to hear about cryptocurrency. So here's the lesson. I promised I was going to lecture you. Yeah, here goes. I think it's really clear that what we've got here, we've got a hybrid, little stocky guy in pretty good shape, throwing some nice kicks. He's clearly done some form of martial arts training. I don't know what. It's hard to say from that. It's probably a bit of kickboxing, in all honesty. He's clearly not a particularly experienced grappler or wrestler. Magic Mike is training in wrestling. He's in good shape. He's in good condition. He's taken the other guy down twice. He's managed to transition through various different positions. He got him in a nice pin. Not a great pin, but not a bad pin. But clearly also isn't a particularly experienced grappler. He spent a lot of time not really knowing what to do. There were a lot of times when there were submissions just sitting there waiting to be taken. And if it wasn't a submission, it would have been a ride. Go back and watch the fight, Josh Barnett, Dean Lister, and watch how much time Josh Barnett spends just holding those discomfort positions, those rides, just making Dean Lister suffer all the time. And Magic Mike didn't do that at any point, despite being a wrestler. So I think what we've got is two guys who are both in shape, both experienced at fighting, both not very good at grappling, ending up in a grappling fight. And I think that's the lesson there. I think that if you want to fight, you really, really need to learn how to grapple. Because if you can't grapple well, it doesn't matter how good your wrestling is. Why would you want to take someone down if you can't finish them when they're down there? And the chances are you're going to end up on the floor. Because, well, you know, that happens. It happens on the street, it happens in the ring, it happens in the cage. You've got to at least understand takedown defence if you're going to play a stand-up game. And I don't really think there was an awful lot of that on display either. Anyway, look, it was a lovely fight to watch. There's some really nice little bits in there. It was definitely a more skillful and a more athletic fight than the last one we looked at from StreetBeefs. I'd be very interested in watching these guys again and seeing if we can learn a little bit more about their styles because of that. And hopefully you've enjoyed this and that it's kept you going until I get James Thompson and Alexander Emelianenko to actually work without being copyright claimed by the UFC. So I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Bye.